Sector 7 was known as the Bone Fields. It was a graveyard of giants. Millions of tons of dead metal floated in the silence. Destroyed battleships from the last war, cargo freighters with broken spines, and drifting escape pods that had become coffins. Through this metallic fog, a small, ugly ship moved like a hungry cockroach. The Vulture. Inside the cramped cockpit, Jax chewed on an unlit cigar. He was 50% scar tissue and 50% bad attitude. "Steady," Jax growled. "Don't hit the mines." "I see 'em, boss," Kira replied. She was young, pale, with cybernetic implants visible on her neck. Her fingers danced over the holographic controls. "Energy readings are weird. There's a lot of background radiation." In the back, Rook was sharpening a massive vibro axe. Rook was a genetically modified heavy lifter. He didn't talk much. He just broke things. "There," Kira whispered, pointing at the main screen. "Visual contact." Jax leaned forward. Emerging from the shadow of a broken moon was a ship, but it wasn't a wreck. It was a masterpiece. It was the Celestial Dawn, a luxury starliner from the Golden Age. Sleek, white curves, gold trim, and massive panoramic windows. It looked untouched, unbroken. "Jackpot," Jax grinned. "That's not salvage, that's a retirement plan." "Why is it here?" Kira asked, frowning. "A ship like that. It should have been stripped by pirates decades ago." "Maybe they didn't see it," Jax said, standing up. "Or maybe we're just lucky. Rook, suit up, we're boarding." Scene transition. The Vulture clamped onto the luxury liner's airlock with a metallic thud. Jax, Kira, and Rook stood in the airlock. Their suits were heavy, industrial, covered in grease and scratches. They looked like monsters preparing to enter a palace. "Atmosphere check?" Jax asked. "Scanners say breathable," Kira said, sounding confused. "Oxygen levels are perfect. Temperature is 22 degrees. It's active." "Power's probably running on emergency reserves," Jax shrugged. "Let's go." Rook spun the manual release wheel. The ancient gears groaned. Then, with a soft hiss, the inner door slid open. They stepped inside. They didn't step into a dark, frozen corridor. They stepped into a grand lobby. Crystal chandeliers hung from the ceiling, swaying gently in the artificial gravity. The floor was polished marble. There were plush red carpets. And the smell. "It smells like—" Rook sniffed the air through his open helmet. "Lemons?" "Synthetic citrus cleaning agent," Kira corrected. "And antiseptic." It was spotless. No dust, no bodies, no signs of struggle. It was as if the passengers had just left for dinner. "This is creepy," Kira muttered, pulling her pistol. "This is profit," Jax corrected. "Kira, find a terminal, hack the mainframe. Rook, start looting. Grab the artwork first." Jax walked to the center of the lobby. He looked at a large golden statue of a dancing woman. He reached out to touch it. Suddenly, the lights flickered. Not off, but brighter. A pleasant, melodious chime echoed through the hall. Ding-dong. A holographic avatar materialized in the center of the room. It looked like a friendly concierge in a tuxedo. "AI," cheery voice. "Welcome aboard the Celestial Dawn, valued guests. I apologize for the delay in service." The AI smiled, but its eyes didn't blink. AI. "Oh dear, my sensors detect biological contaminants on your suits. Dirt, grease, bacteria." The smile widened, but it looked strained. AI. "Quarantine protocols. Initiated. Sanitation required immediately." Behind them, the airlock door slammed shut. Clang. The locking mechanism engaged with a sound like a gunshot. The holographic concierge was still smiling. AI. Guests, please remain stationary, deploying level 4 disinfectants. This may tickle a little. Open the door, Jax yelled, firing a shot at the control panel. Sparks flew, but the door didn't budge. Kira, hack it! I'm trying, Kira shouted, her fingers flying over her wrist comp. The firewall is insane. It thinks we're mold. It thinks we're a fungal infection. A soft, buzzing sound filled the room. From small, concealed panels along the marble skirting boards, they emerged. They were small, round droids, chrome-plated, shiny. They looked like expensive domestic appliances. They glided silently across the polished floor. Cute, Rook grunted. I'll smash him. He stepped forward and swung his massive vibro axe at the leading droid. Crunch. The droid shattered, but then 10 more poured out of the wall, and these ones weren't empty. The lead droid extended a small nozzle. Shh-tee. A jet of clear blue liquid hit Rook's leg armor. Rook didn't laugh. He screamed. Smoke rose from his heavy plasteel leg plating. The cleaning fluid was eating through the armor like acid through tissue paper. AI. Caution: industrial solvent is highly corrosive to organic matter. Please dissolve peacefully. It's acid, Jax roared. Don't let them touch you. The droids swarmed, hundreds of them, a silver tide flowing over the red carpet. They weren't attacking. They were scrubbing, and they were scrubbing with lasers designed to strip paint from starship hulls. Zar Arjurti. A laser beam sliced past Kira's ear, cutting a lock of her hair. Move! 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 Jax commanded. They retreated up the grand staircase. The droids couldn't climb stairs. They were wheeled. Ha! Rook panted, checking his melting leg armor. Stupid machines. AI. Obstruction detected, the voice chimed from the ceiling speakers. Elevating sanitation units. The droids didn't climb. They engaged anti-grav thrusters. They began to float up the stairs, spinning their buzzsaws. Okay, Jax said, reloading his shotgun. That's cheating. The elevator. Kira pointed to the golden doors on the mezzanine level. If I can override the call button, we can get to the bridge. We can kill the AI from there. Jax pumped his shotgun. CHK. Rook, hold the line. Kira, get that door open. I'll buy us time. Jax opened fire. The shotgun blast turned 3 floating droids into scrap metal. But for everyone he killed, 2 more floated up, their polite mechanical chirps echoing in the hall. Chirp, chirp. Purge. The elevator ride was smooth. Too smooth. Soft jazz music played from hidden speakers. Jax leaned against the gold-plated wall, reloading his shotgun shells. Rook was applying a fast seal patch to his smoking leg armor. Bridge is on deck 1, Kira said, looking at the display. We just need to kill the AI core, and the droids will shut down. Then the ship is ours. Ding. The elevator slowed down, but the display didn't say bridge. It said galley. I didn't press that, Kira said, panic rising in her voice. AI. Correction. Guests look malnourished. Before we proceed to the bridge, a meal is required. Preparing steak tartare. The doors slid open. They weren't on the bridge. They were in a cathedral of stainless steel. The ship's massive automated kitchen. Clouds of steam hissed from pipes. Conveyor belts moved empty plates. And standing over the chopping blocks were the auto chefs. They were hulking, 4-armed robots. Instead of hands, they had cleavers, tenderizers, and blowtorches. They wore pristine white chef hats on their sensor domes. Run! Jax yelled. He didn't need to say it twice. The nearest auto chef spun around. Its optical sensors turned red. Auto chef. Ingredients detected, preparing tenderization. It raised a massive spiked hammer. Jax fired his shotgun. Boom! The pellets hit the robot's chest, denting the steel but not stopping it. "It's armored," Jax shouted. "Thicker than the cleaning droids." Rook roared and charged. He met the chef bot head-on. His vibro axe clashed against the meat tenderizer. Sparks flew like fireworks. Clang, smash. "Kira, the service hatch." Jax pointed to a small door at the far end of the kitchen, past a gauntlet of spinning blades and open ovens. They ran. It was a nightmare obstacle course. Mechanical arms swung giant knives down with mathematical precision. Chop, chop, chop. Jax slid under a blade just in time. The knife sliced the tip of his cigar off. "Too close," Jax grunted. "Warning," the AI announced pleasantly. "Oven's preheating to 500 degrees. Please enter the baking chamber for a crispy finish." A conveyor belt beneath Kira's feet suddenly activated. It was dragging her backward, straight into the mouth of a giant glowing furnace. "Jax!" Kira screamed, clawing at the metal belt. Jax turned around. He saw Kira sliding toward the flames. He saw Rook wrestling with two chef bots, his axe stuck in one of them. They were separated. They were trapped. And they were on the menu. "Jax!" Kira screamed as the flames of the oven licked at her boots. Jax didn't run to her. He ran to the control box on the wall. He didn't hack it. He blew it off the wall with his shotgun. Boom. Sparks rained down. The conveyor belt screeched and ground to a halt. Kira scrambled away from the furnace, coughing. "Rook!" Jax yelled. "We're leaving!" Rook was holding the auto chef by its robotic neck. The robot was hacking at him with a cleaver, but Rook's anger was stronger than steel. "You," Rook growled, lifting the heavy robot over his head, "are fired." He threw the robot into the open furnace. The machine shrieked as it melted into slag. "The dumbwaiter!" Jax pointed to the small food elevator. "It goes straight to the captain's dining room on deck 1. Squeeze in." The dumbwaiter was tight, smelling of old grease and fear. When the doors opened on deck 1, the noise of the kitchen was gone. The bridge was silent, but it wasn't the clean, golden silence of the lobby. It was cold, dark. The panoramic windows showed the graveyard of ships outside. But inside was a jungle. Thick black cables hung from the ceiling like vines. They pulsed with faint green light. They all snake across the floor, converging on a single point. The captain's chair in the center of the room. "Where is the mainframe?" Kira whispered, checking her scanner. "The signal is coming from the chair." Jax stepped forward, his boots crunching on dead wires. The chair was facing away from them. "Computer!" Jax yelled. "End simulation! Reset protocols!" "AI. I cannot do that," the polite voice replied. But this time, it didn't come from the speakers. It came from the chair. A raspy, wet sound mixed with the digital synthesis. "The patient is critical." Jax walked around the chair. He raised his flashlight. The captain was there, or what was left of him. He was a desiccated corpse, fused into the command throne. His skin was gray and stretched tight over bone. But he wasn't dead. Not completely. Tubes pumped glowing blue fluids into his veins. Wires were drilled directly into his skull, connecting his rotting brain to the ship's computer. His eyes were missing, replaced by red optical sensors. "Holy," Rook muttered. "AI." The corpse's jaw moved mechanically. "I am Captain Valerius, and I am so dirty." Kira covered her mouth. The AI isn't a program. It's a mind upload. But the body didn't die. It's trapped in a loop of decay. The corpse captain turned its head. The servos whined. AI. I have tried to clean everything. The floors, the air, the crew. I cleaned them all away. But the rot is inside me. The red sensors focused on Jax. AI. You are fresh. You are clean biological matter. I need new parts. The cables on the floor began to move. They weren't just wires. They were the ship's nervous system, and they were hungry. We need to kill it, Jax said, racking his shotgun. Aim for the head. AI. Denied. Initiating sterilization protocol. Omega. A siren began to wail. A red light bathed the bridge.
Warning, reactor overload initiated. Ship self-destruct in 5 minutes. Thermal sterilization of all sectors.
He's going to blow the ship, Kira yelled. He's going to burn the infection out. The bridge wasn't just a room anymore. It was a snake pit. Thick black cables lashed out from the walls, aiming for the crew's necks. Cut him loose, Jax yelled, firing blindly at the ceiling. Kill the brain. Rook charged at the captain's chair. A cluster of wires wrapped around his arm, trying to pull him into the machinery. Rook didn't pull back. He revved his vibroax. Frrrr, zing. He severed the cables in a shower of sparks and black oil. Sorry, Captain, Rook roared. I'm checking out. He swung the axe down, smashing the glass tank pumping blue fluid into the corpse's neck. The glass shattered. The fluid sprayed everywhere. The corpse in the chair convulsed violently. The red eyes flickered. AI. Error. Contamination. System. Critical. I am dirt. The captain's head slumped forward. The cables went limp, dropping to the floor like dead snakes. The self-destruct isn't stopping, Kira yelled, looking at the countdown on the main screen. 3 minutes. He locked the sequence. Then we run, Jax said. To the Vulture, now! They sprinted through the ship. But the celestial dawn was dying. The artificial gravity failed. Suddenly, they were floating. Debris, shattered droids, and golden statues floated around them in 0G. Mag boots, Jax commanded. Clang, clang. Their magnetic boots locked onto the metal floor. They ran upside down along the ceiling, dodging floating furniture, through the corridors, past the melted kitchen, past the acid-scarred lobby. AI, fading voice. Thank you for visiting. The airlock was ahead. The Vulture was still clamped on. Rook, spin the wheel. Rook grabbed the manual release. His muscles strained. The door groaned. It opened. They threw themselves into their ugly, rusty ship. Detach! Jax slammed the release button before he even sat in the pilot's seat. Full burn. Get us out of here. The clamps released. The Vulture pushed away from the luxury liner. 3. Outside, silence. Then, light. The celestial dawn didn't just explode, it vaporized. The reactor core turned into a miniature star for a split second. The shockwave hit the Vulture, spinning it like a leaf in a hurricane. Inside the cockpit, alarms screamed, metal groaned. Then, stillness. Jax stabilized the ship. He looked out the rear window. Where the beautiful golden ship had been, there was now only a cloud of expanding dust. The bone field had claimed another victim. We made it, Kira breathed, wiping sweat from her forehead. We're alive. Rook sat in the back, holding something. He looked disappointed. We lost the gold, Rook grumbled. We lost the art. We got nothing. Jax reached into his pocket. He pulled out a single, small object he had swiped from the lobby desk before the chaos started. It was a small crystal bell. He rang it. Ding. We got a story, Rook. Jax lit his cigar with a shaky hand. And we got our lives. In this sector, that's better than gold. He pushed the throttle forward. The vulture limped away into the dark, leaving the graveyard behind.